Hi BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and it's time for a bookish update, although this is also going to be me venting about my library and how I feel about it and everything as well. So I did go to the library the other day and finally decide, now might be a good time to start borrowing books from the library again. And of course, I kind of started having second thoughts a few days later. The good news is that I did finally. The main goal was to get this last book in the Camelot Years series, School for Good and Evil series, the Camelot Years. One True King, get the last book. Now, of course, there's the prequel duology. I don't know if I'll read that or not. I mean, I probably will just to find out how it all started. But I had a good time with this. This was really fun. I just love the world, the character development of especially Sophie. Sophie's development was my favorite. I like the tournament and how Jepath and Tedros had to compete to prove their worth, to being the rightful heir, and which, by the way, in the adaptation they went in a very different direction with the characters' looks, except for Sophie. Sophie still blonde and like I don't know if she cuts her hair in the first book. She cuts her hair in the movie. Her hair gets chopped off in the movie. I don't know if she cuts her hair in the book. But so like I remember I watched, so whenever I'm reading the books, I'm like caught between picturing them looking like the on the movie and looking like how they look and how they're described in here. So there's like Tedros is blonde in the book, but he's playing by a brunette in the movie, and then they decided to go with a black actress to play Agatha in the movie, and she's clearly white on the cover, with a bob, which is really cute, by the way. But I also think the actress in the movie does a pretty good job. Does a really good job. I hope it's good enough and the movies are good enough that people will that they'll keep going, because I always love seeing on-screen adaptations of some of my favorite books. But anyway, like I said, there was a lot of things that I liked, and like I said, I love how the adults were actually involved in the story. I really appreciate it. They weren't just sitting on the sidelines being worrisome and being overprotective. They actually did stuff. They actually helped the kids. They fought back and they risked their lives for their children. Like actually did something instead of just sitting there being threatened, their lives being threatened, or being worried, or being completely oblivious to what their teenage children were doing. So I really appreciate that. And I loved Hester and Andal and Dot. We got a lot more development with them. I also loved the Hester and Andal little relationship. I thought that was really cute. There's so many good things about this. But there were some bad things. First of all, I was not happy with, I don't ship Hort and Sophie. Like, I think they have their cute moments, and I appreciate that Sophie does see his values or seeing him as a true love. But they have such a toxic relationship. And then Tedros, oh my god, I want to smack him. I cannot stand him, and how much of a jerk he can be to Agatha, and how self-centered he is. I mean, I know it's his quest and everything, but God forbid she helps him, because she'll try to take control. She gets shit done, people. But anyway, which, by the way, I think whether you still like Once Upon a Time or not, whether you like me drifted away from it, had problems with it, I think you would probably like this series for what Once Upon a Time originally was. Like with the fairy tale setting and the mixing of the characters and showing that the whole good versus evil battle, and how, there's shades of gray, and the good versus evil people are, that they're not good or just evil. They're very complex human beings. But yeah, this is such a fun series. I enjoyed it, but I had my problems with it. So I'm currently and that was my main goal. So I appreciate that I did finish this one. I'm glad I finished this one because I chose to read this one first. So here's the problem: is I'm starting to have second thoughts. Like I said, I'm feeling anxious because I don't like this feeling of I have all my own books that I've had for a long time on my shelf unread, or I'm in the middle of them and just put them back on my shelf, put them on hold, that I need to read. And books that I'm more, I'm because I own them, I can take my time with them, and I don't feel like, and there's this feeling with library books, I know I'm gonna have to return them at some point. Like, even though, yes, as I've said before, I am aware that I can renew them, but I don't like having to constantly renew them. And I don't like this feeling of this hanging over my head that, okay, I have to get this read because I have to prioritize these books because this has to go back at some point. I don't like that feeling. And yes, there's also, if you don't have a time limit, there's a risk you might accidentally keep it too long. Like I've done, like I still have a TV series that came out on DVD that I haven't watched. I started to watch it, and it belongs to my aunt who, I don't even think she is aware that I still have it. I think she kind of forgot about it. And of course she's going to be like, oh, take your time, read it, watch it whenever you want to watch it. So yeah, there is that risk when there's no time limit and the person isn't expressly expressing that I return it to them soon. But at the same time, I don't always like a time limit either. Like, at least with a show or a movie, I can get through it a lot quicker than a book. Because, like, most, you have episodes that are an hour long, so I can binge watch. Or, like, movies are only 2 hours at the longest. Unless, of course, you have certain situations like Lord of the Rings. Or Avatar. But, and basically all James Cameron movies. And, but anyway. So in this, not a lot it's kind of very slow, in which I do feel like that is how historical fiction is. But the chapters are not that long, and I was intrigued by the mystery, but then I started not, like, I wasn't excited to pick it up. My dad and I, he's going to go visit his friend who has a horse farm, and I wanted to go because I've been, ever since I found out he has a horse farm, I've been wanting to go, because when I was 16, I took lessons on horseback riding, but I quit because something happened. I fell off the horse, actually, because I accidentally told the horse to gallop, and I wasn't ready for that. How it's so easy to do that, I feel like, because all you have to do is, like, squeeze the horse's, thighs or whatever to let them do certain things, or actually kick them. So it's like, I think I accidentally told him or her, I can't remember if it was the boy or the girl, because I ever told them to do something that I wasn't ready for, so I fell off. And I kind of regret that I quit, that I put up such a fuss about it, and and then, like, but then it's expensive, and then I always, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of, there are a lot of things that with a horse, they're big animals, and I have this fear in the back of my mind. I'm so lucky, because what if the horse kicked me in the head? That could have caused damage or broke my skull, and I wouldn't be alive today. I might not be alive, or I might be in a coma or something. Or I could end up like Christopher Reeve. So it's like, I regret it, but then at the same time, I think about things that could have happened. That I didn't think about in the moment. So yeah. So anyway, I bring that up because we're going to go up there and visit him. Finally got with my dad, but I don't want to bring the library book. I'm not, I feel like I need to bring it and read it, but then I don't want to, because I would rather bring either The Portable Dante, because I need to get back to reading the Divine Comedy, or The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. And also I'm thinking, Dad and I are alone in the car, and we could talk about one of these books, maybe. So it's like, it's just, and yeah, I could take advantage of because he said we want to leave until like around 1 or 1:30. So I'm thinking, but I'm like, I'm doing this. I feel like I should, film something for you guys and update you on what's going on with my reading. And then there's YouTube/booktube videos I would rather watch. So I'm not motivated to pick up the book. And yes, it's not like we're going to stay out all day. We're going to go over there. And I also have to make a sandwich because I have to go to work tomorrow. And, it's making sandwiches, having to sandwich during my 50 minutes is the easiest solution for me. So it's just, and then he has me pick up pine cones in front of my yard because, Pinehurst is full of pine straw and pine cones. So it's just, and like I said, I'm not excited to read it. I don't feel motivated to read it. I mean, I don't mind it when I'm reading it. I don't have a problem when I'm reading it, but I just don't feel motivated to read it. So I'm starting to have second thoughts and thinking maybe I should just return these, because the other book I finally picked up an Isabella Allende book. Isabel Allende, and I don't think it was the right choice, because at the time I looked at it and it was like, oh, this is something different from the popular ones I hear about all the time. And then I look at it and I think about it, it's like, I'm not sure. Because I'm not big into crime dramas. And this is kind of what this is. So I don't know. Like and yeah, maybe I should give it a chance and start reading it. But you know what? I can't read every book that I thought about for like a second, consider reading, and then was like, never mind. I feel like you can't do that. Just because, yeah, people say you should at least give it a shot and decide on your own and not. But I think in certain cases, you can't give everything a chance, because we don't have time, we're not going to live forever. And I feel like you can't necessarily waste your time on a book that you're not sure. You can't always waste your time on books you're not sure about. Unless you're some of those people who just rant videos. And I don't care to do that. So, I mean, I don't mind ranting if I'm frustrated by a book. But I don't do that regularly. So, and maybe this is not a bad book. It's just not for me. It might not be for me. And it's not like I spent money anyway. I think if I spent the money, then I would feel bad, felt like I need to give it a shot, like I did with that one, that Little Bit Mad did a rant review on it. It was a book talk book, actually. But I bought a Books A Million because it sounded intriguing at the time, but then, I look at Goodreads review and hear a Little Bit Mad's video, and I'm like, and I did read some of it. I did read a little bit of it because I spent the money, and it's not like with the Rose Doves where I only spent $4. I bought it at Books A Million, so I spent like, $20. But yeah, it doesn't seem like, now thinking about it, just does not seem like my kind of book. So, like I said, this is a little bit closer to my kind of book, but like I said, I'm just not feeling it. So I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I think I am gonna, just return them, because I got the book done that I wanted to get read. So, and I did attempt this, and it's, so I feel like I might just return it, and it'll be easier to be able to return all of them, that way I don't have to worry about going in there and being tempted to get another one, and then going through this cycle again of feeling anxious, feel like, oh, I have so many other books that the problem was I was feeling like, oh, I should start using the library again, but I don't know when a good time to start, because I will always have books that I'm buying and coming in and continuing with. I think next library visit, whether it's when I return these, it probably won't, but maybe in August I'll go to the library again and just get one book, which would be kind of hard, but because with library books, you're not spending money, you're just borrowing books, so you can get as many books. But yeah, so I think I might just return these, and like I said, at least I finished, The One True King. I can say I finished that one, so. I don't know. Maybe I'll, read a little bit more of this one before my dad comes home and we leave to go visit his friend. Because these chapters are not that long. But then I keep thinking, but then I'm like, what's the point of me reading a little bit more when I'm probably going to lean towards, sending them back and returning them. And I mean, I guess because I'm thinking maybe I'll change. Maybe if I read a little bit more, maybe I'll change my mind. But I doubt it. And who knows? Maybe if I hear a lot more about it, maybe I'll give it maybe someone else will talk about it and in a positive way, and that might make me change my mind. I don't know. But yeah. So that's kind of what's going on. Like I said, I was trying to prioritize the library books. So, and the good news is I don't have to worry about feeling like, I counted, Ripper on my Goodreads. Because I will feel like I need to count the kingdoms on my Goodreads. I mean, I guess I don't have to. I could, get rid of it. But, I don't know. I just feel like I always just feel like counting it. I feel bad for, getting rid of it. Especially because, you never know. I might come back to it. But I don't want to leave it, hanging there waiting for me. Because it will, be like it's expecting me to finish it. And I probably won't. I mean, there's a small chance I might, but I probably won't. So yeah, really, this is more of a me venting. Like I said, not a lot of or at least it is an update, but it's an update that's basically me venting about my frustrations with the library and how, not, frustrations with, feeling like the library is, I can't get books from the library because I end up feeling like, oh, I gotta read my own books. If that makes sense. Anyway, so if you guys like this video and kind of get where I'm coming from, then let me know, and please give this video a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I hope you're enjoying your reading, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.